aside from doing press today and talking about yourselves, good day for you both so far. We'll throw it to Michael first.
Great day. I'm very, very happy. You?
Nonstop, but good. Same for you. Can I call you LRL or are you just Luke at everybody?
Actually, LRL works great. And yeah, I'm doing good.
Well, thank you for taking the time. Obviously, a well-crafted, thought out, uh, not easy documentary to make, to say the least. And when I was looking over who made the film, besides you two, I saw Sam Dunn's name on there, and I've seen a lot of Sam Dunn films, and they're all heavy metal oriented. So, before I ask you about any other way, either of you secret metalheads?
No, no, but Sam has certainly made me love and respect some musicians that as a folk R&B blues country man I might not have understood before Sam and Scott came along with everything they've done.
Well
I
said.
second that for sure. He's a man of quite a wide musical taste.
Exactly, who actually gets the films done as well. So speaking of that, I know that you had probably Jackie Shane's last interviews as part of this, and we lost Jackie in 2019. When did production start on the film? Was it 2018?
God, no, it was well after that. It was like 2022. Is that right, Luca?
Mm. I
Um,
guess, yeah, like in terms of actually shooting, I'd say, yeah, 2022. But I suppose we were in pre-production even, even when you and one of our producers, Michael, and one of our producers, Amanda, went down to Nashville to meet the family. And I guess that might have been the very start of this from a
yeah.
production
I mean,
perspective.
my journey with Jackie was, over a year talking on the phone with her. And, obviously a big part of that was Jackie kind of working out how her story could be told and what that would look like and sound like and feel like. And there was so much to it. Another big part of it was her making sure I was the right person to do it
Right.
and building that trust and everything. And then when Jackie tragically passed away, we and the family inherited everything. We had to spend a long time building that trust with the family, and they were incredibly protective of this legacy that they inherited, and also they didn't know what was there, so it was overwhelming, and so it was many years in the making, and then production probably in about 2022.
And you got the proper premiere at South by Southwest in 2024. Was the film finished specifically because of the South by deadlines? Because sometimes you find that is the case.
Yeah, I think every film is sort of keeping an eye on a deadline of like, can Sundance, can Berlin, Venice, if we get it done now. And again, mad respect for Sam and Scott at Banger. As much as we were trying to work towards some of these things, a lot of it was the film is done when the film is done, and this was a really complicated thing to do. So, luck happenstance that we could premiere, that we were ready to premiere at South by, both because of the musical associations with that festival, but bringing Jackie's story back down to the South meant a lot. And so it was a great
Mhm.
festival.
Luca, what was the hardest part of getting this film together for you?
I mean, to me, the hardest part was probably bringing Jackie to life for people that never knew about her, never heard of her. And early on when Michael was telling me about conversations that he had with Jackie and, just about her stage presence and the things people had said about her, it was across the board. This was one of the most incredible live musicians I'd ever seen in my life. And so the fact
Mhm.
that we only had one piece of footage and we had to convey that to an audience without her, I think was one of the more daunting things. But between the various elements that we had, and then finding her archive and the pictures and the phone calls and then the rotoscope element, it's been amazing. The fact that people have left the theater and said, what an incredible person, what an incredible woman, what a talent. And so I'm really happy that we were able to bring it together enough so that that's conveyed in a way that is empowering for her and empowering for the audience.
To bring it back to Sam and Metal, nothing to do with the story itself, but the challenges that you had in terms of the limited footage reminds me of how anytime there's a documentary about Randy Rhoads, the guitar player who played for Ozzy Osbourne and Quiet Riot, all they really have is one TV performance from the early 80s. That's it. Photo shoots and that. And you go, how can we stretch it out? And in your case, it was animation helps stretch it out. How did you come up with the idea? Was there a particular film where you saw, okay, animation is going to help us here?
The first film I ever made was a film called The Life and Hard Times of Guy Terrifico about country music, and my producer on that was also the producer of Richard Linklater's Waking Life, and they were kind of going concurrently, and so he would show me what they were doing, and it just blew my mind. You can do that, with rotoscope animation, and so it's always been an obsession of mine. But then even when Jackie was alive, knowing, as Luca pointed out, that there was this only one piece of footage of her on Night Train, incredible piece of footage, but that's all there was. But there was this a large amount of incredible live audio of her performing. So even when Jackie was around, my pitch was let's use rotoscope animation to bring those performances to life, because anybody who saw her, it was they're just breathless when they talk about these performances and the intimacy and the electricity. And so when Jackie passed away and all we had were these tapes of her and I, it was a natural progression. But I can't quite recall the Randy Rhoads footage, but part of me, I'm not sure that archive footage could have articulated and evoked the things that people talked about these performances of Jackie. Like, even, these are low ceiling, poorly lit clubs, had there been archive footage, I'm not sure that it would have been able to evoke what we were able to evoke working with these incredible rotoscope artists, So yeah, it was kind of a dream come true. And Luca Tarantini and Jared Rabb were the directors of animation, and just extraordinary what they could do.
Sure. So this is a new film to us. To both of you, it was a years-long slog, rewarding slog, that is. Are we allowed to know, and I'll start with Luca, are we allowed to know what's coming next from you?
Good question. I mean, I've got a few things going on, but I nothing super concrete in the film space. I think I'm gonna do some. I've been doing a little bit of story editing actually, and I've been really enjoying it because this film pushed me a lot in terms of what it takes to tell a compelling story, and I don't think I realized how much I learned from both the team and from Jackie and particularly from Michael around what it takes to put something compelling on the screen. So I think I'm just going to keep using these skills, and I'm sure something great will come next, and inevitably I'm sure it'll have something to do with gender, because that's a big part of the work that I do.
Right. Same question at you, Michael. Are we allowed to know what's coming next, or is it all under embargoes because of the Hollywood Reporter or one of those outlets where you're not allowed to talk about it?
No, I mean, it's nothing's under embargo. Part of being obsessed with Roto for this long, part of my obsession, aside from just the sheer beauty, is what Roto can do interacting with and bringing to life other archive audio.
Right.
And so I'm looking at archive audio going much further back than, Jackie in the 60s. So I either setting myself up for a really, really beautiful film with incredible music, and undiscovered archive, or just another 8 years of stress. But yeah, you got to have a bunch of things, as in development, and so just kind of working on a whole bunch of other things. A little obsessed with Hamlet right now. I'm not quite sure why, but so just plugging away.
The first rotoscope enabled film that I think I really noticed was Super Duper Alice Cooper, which I think Sam might have worked on.
Yeah, that's right. That was their film, and it goes all the way back to the Prince and Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, Prince Charming or whomever that is. That's rotoscope. The first Superman was there was rotoscope in that. Like, it is and back then they were literally hand painting frame by frame, and we've got such incredible technology right now. But what we were able to use the technology for was getting through a bunch of the grunt work just to have more artists basically hand painting more things and taking the beauty to another level, and getting more and more roto than we could ever afford. So it's a wonderful way to tell stories, and it's a tough world for documentaries right now, and how do you make it exciting and something new, and Alice Cooper, like how do you express to an audience on a big screen or a small screen this madness and genius and stuff like that. So I think it's a great assist to sort of elevate it.
Has there ever been a documentary about Rotoscope, about how and where it came from? If not, I look forward to your future Roto doc.
Yeah,
That'd be good.
yes, and then we can talk in another 10 years when
I'll do the
done.
music clearances. We'll be great on that one. But in the meantime, congrats to you both on this Jackie Shane doc happening, and looking forward to what's to come from you both, because I know it's going to be meaningful and look great as well.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so
Really
much,
appreciate
Darren.
it.